right, there are a couple more things we need to talk about cron. I don't know if you noticed this or not. I did, but I glossed over it. When my script ran, it said these things changed, and you might have been thinking, Rich, hey, look, Rich, your TCP stuff disappeared. What happened? Well, what happened was cron did not work right for that, and there are a couple things you can know about cron. When you run a script with cron, if it produces output and you do not redirect the output, it's going to mail that output to the user. So I'm going to use mailx to look at my mail. If you want to use mailx to look at your mail, yum install mailx. It's a command line mail tool. So I'm going to type mailx, and it's going to show me my messages. Look, I have messages from cron. That's pretty cool. If you hit the number of the message you want to read, it will show you that message. And we'll look at number 1. And if we look at what I said, it's going to show you some environment stuff related to cron, and then it's going to show you the message itself. So if we look at this message, oh, that was message 2. I went too far. So 2 things to look at. 1, some of this is the output that was produced. Here's an error. It says SS command not found. So if we look at our script, sorry, I've been logging in and logging out with this window, so I'm not in the right place anymore. If we look at our script, if we look at our script, we're running this SS command, and when we run the command at the command line, it works fine, but when we run it in cron, it says command not found. And the reason for that is cron gets a very limited environment. So in this case, the path for cron says user bin and bin. So any commands found in user bin or bin will work. If we want to know where the SS command is, it's an sbin. So we need to edit our script to have the full path for that command. I knew this was a possibility that I was ignoring at the time to make things simpler. But if you want to be sure your script is always going to run, most likely run successful regardless of what the environment variable settings are, then you can use full paths on those commands. So in this case, we put the full path for sbin. Other commands we're using firewall command and cat. So let's which firewall command. That's in bin, which is part of the path, so that's fine, right? Bin. So those other ones did not generate errors. So that was our only command that generated an error. And so it mailed us this output. So if we look at the next run, we just got the errors. And if it runs again, we shouldn't get the errors. Let's go ahead and hit Q to get out of there. Let's go ahead and do a little testing. Let's let it run one more time. So I'm not going to get it by 4. So we'll do edit the cron tab to set it to run at 5. So it will run. And I'll restart it again because I'm not sure if I need to. I could always just wait and see if it runs or not, but I don't want to spend a minute sitting here to have to do it again. So now in a minute it's going to run again in 45 seconds. So when it runs, these errors should go away because we put the full path in there, and our socket information should come back. So that's the one important thing we should know about cron. And I'm trying to decide if I want to wait till this runs before I talk about the next important thing. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until it runs. So I'm gonna filibuster for 15 more seconds. So one other thing we should know, that cron will run jobs regularly. If for some reason you'd have a specific time, never mind, I'm not going to say that because apparently there's no man page entry for that. Weird. So yeah, so we'll just wait till it runs again. All right, it ran again. If we go look at our mail, I have message 3 now, and now we didn't get the error, but we still got this output. So if you have a script that's running and doing something, in this case our script is putting the output in message of the day, you don't really want it to mail things to you. So what we can do is we can edit our cron entry. See what the date. See what time we got. We're at 38. So I'm gonna set it for 7 this time so we can test it. We can edit our cron tab entry. I'm gonna set it for 7 for testing, and you can tell it to redirect the output to dev null. Remember process output redirection? If we redirect the output to dev null, there's going to be no output to mail. So then we don't have to worry about filling up our mailbox, because those mails actually take up space on your system, right? So we're going to run it again with the output redirected to dev null, and it's gonna not mail us anything. Hopefully we remember that there's also standard error and so there's standard output and standard error. When we use the redirect symbol, that redirects standard. This symbol will redirect standard output. So any output the script produces will go to the trash can, right? Dev null. And errors, as it is at this moment, errors will still get emailed to us, which we might want to get emails about errors. But if we wanted to also redirect the errors to dev null, then we add this on the command, and that says, hey, send the errors to that file as well. So at this point, we shouldn't have any errors. So if I look at mail, I should not have a mail 4. So we set it to run at 7. It's after 7, so we didn't get a mail. So that time it ran without errors. But if there were errors, it would have mailed us. So those are the two things I felt like needed some special mention. One, the path with cron is limited, so you need to make sure that cron successfully runs your commands. And two, if you have a script or a process that produces output, that output will be emailed to the user that it runs as, unless you tell it to do something else. And what we told it to do was we told it to look at to send it to dev null. If you do cron tab -L, that will let you look at it without actually editing it. So what we did was we sent the output to dev null, so we don't get those emails.